Hey everyone, what's up? This is Iram here, back with another video, and our today's topic is input types. So today we are going to learn about the input types, the type attribute of the input element. There are many kind of these types attribute. So let's get started. We have covered some of them, but I will try to cover some more. And let's create a form, and within that form it's not necessary, it depends where we want to use these types, but mostly we use these types within the form element. So I'm using this form, and let me say first name. I'm having a line break. Then I'm going to have a input element. I'm going to say that type would be text, and then the name would be first name, and a line break. Then again I want to say password, and here let me use line break also, and let me use the password type. So input type, and here the type would be password, and the name can be password or anything short if you want. So it should be the name also, it would be password. Let's close this, save it, go back to the browser. And yes, we have a name and we have a password. The password cannot be displayed because it is masked, or it can be showed by using asterisks or the dots, black circles. You can see. So I'm using the first name should be my name, and the password would be, and we cannot see the password because it is masked and it is shown with these small circles. Okay, now let's go back and learn the other type. We have learned the submit type of that in the last section, in the previous video, sorry. And now I'm not going to cover the submit type here. I'm just going to use this reset, but reset type, and if I say the line break, let me tag it loop, and here I want to have a for the, let me say reset type is reset, and I'm not going to say I'm not going to do anything, but this reset would look more better and nicer if I use the submit type. So let me use that one also. Before I was not planning to cover this, but let me cover this one. It's not value, it's value. And let me say submit. Okay, I want them to be shown in one line, and you can see the submit and the reset button. Right now they cannot work. The reset is not going to work because we need to use the backend language. So the reset is just, there is a button you can see, but it is not working, while the submit is refreshing our page, but reset button is not doing anything. We can use this reset button with the backend language. Okay, so what the reset button is going to do, it is going to reset all the values from the form. Okay, and now let's go and check we have done with the radio buttons. So let's go and work with the check boxes. So here checkboxes that gives more options to the user to select one or more choices. So if you guys remember any sort of form in which they have options, a favorite color, sometimes people have 2-3 favorite colors. Like if I have a favorite color blue, then I have a pink also, then green also, so I want to select 2-3 options. So checkboxes are helpful in those cases. And let me delete this one, and here I should go with the checkbox, and let me say input, and the type of this input would be checkbox. Okay, so checkbox, and the name of this checkbox is, this should be color. Okay, and I want to have the value, the color should be, let's say, blue, and I like blue color. Okay, and let's have a line break, move to another line, input, this time input type again to checkbox, and the name same, color, the value of this time, it should be pink, and I should say I like pink color too. And if I want to go with the input type, or I think, okay, let me go with another input type, same type, checkbox. Let me copy all the other code, this line here it should be purple, and I'm not a big fan of this color. Okay, I don't think that there is a need of this thing, but just for my because I love to type, so let it go like this. Okay, let me save it, go to the browser, and you can see I like blue color, pink color too, and not big fan of this. But what I'm going to do here, if I'm going to click the blue color, there is a little check mark within the box. I like the pink color too. And if I say that I'm not big fan of this color, so it is also going to be checked. So this is the purpose of the checkbox, and this is how the checkboxes work. Okay, there are some other input types which are more introduced in HTML5 actually, and these are the color I've already used. This is used in HTML5, introduced in HTML5 actually. There are date, time, and email, month, number, range, search. So let's go with the date. Okay, this input this time, let's go with it. Let me delete all these. Okay, and I want to say birthday, and this birthday would be input, and the type here would be date. Okay, so here the input value, the type is changed. Here the type is date. You can see in the IntelliSense of my VS, there are all these three types can be used: the date, DateTime, and DateTime local. So we can, maybe I'll use them within the same lesson. So right now I'm just using the date, and then there is a name, and the name would be birthday. Okay, let's save it, move on to the browser, and you can see there is a month, date, and year. So, and there is a drop down also, it is showing me the calendar, the 2020. Today is 10th of Jan, and the calendar is appear here. You can go back, you can move forward, and you can just stick with this date also. Okay, so I'm not going to use this one, but it's a good option to use this. Okay, you can see, you can check the dates and the days and the months from here. Okay, with these buttons, also with these 2019 and 2020 and whatever. It's a very good option, and this option or this type is introduced in HTML5. Okay, this date type. Now let's go back. This date type is showing us the minimum and maximum value. So let's do that. Now we can use the date time local. Okay, so how we can use this date time local? Let me delete. No, I'm not going to delete it. I'm just going to change this one, date time, and I'm just going to say local. Okay, this date time local, it specifies a date and time input field with no time zone. It depending upon the browser support and a date picker that can show up in the input field. So let's go and check that how it is going to show us how it is going to appear in the browser. So we can see here the month, day, year, and we have the two dashes. It's for the day, the day and the year, and it is going to show us the values also, like the minimum and maximum values, and the calendar is also appearing. Everything is same, only we have a little bit difference here, that it is saying that please enter a valid value. The field is incomplete or has an invalid date. Okay, so it is because, as I've mentioned, that it is not going, the input field with no time zone, so it is not going to show us the time zone, but we have to mention the time zone here ourselves. Okay, so let's move on and check the other type, and the other type is email. Let me say email. Okay, and here within this type, it should be email, and the name is also email. Okay, save it, go back to the browser, and here we can use the emails. Okay, so here it is showing my email already set in my browser. Okay, now the input file. What is this input file? It defines the file select field and a browse button for the files to upload. Okay, so let me delete it, and let me write a select a file, and here I'm just going, or let me move here, input. The type of this input would be file, and the name, file, my file, your file, or PDF file, whatever we want to say, we can give that name and save it and move on to the browser. And here it is giving us the option choose a file, and then if I click on it, then I'll go to the specific place in my system to get the file from there. Okay, it is very helpful in this HTML5 that we can choose the file by using this markup. Okay, so right now I'm not going to do that, but you can see that we have this option. Sorry, we have this button to choose the file from the system, from our machine. Now let's move on and learn about the month type. And this month type, I'm sorry, my neighbor's dog is shouting. Okay. Here would be birthday. Okay, I've just stopped it. I was waiting for the dog to stop. Now let's continue. So input type is going to be month, and the name should be birth month. Okay, I'm not good with names, oh my gosh. Okay, here birth month and year. So we can get this type of input box, and you can see that there is a calendar, and we can select it with our own will. Okay, so this is what the month type can do. Now there is another type, that is a number, and in which we can show the numeric data. Okay, so how we can show the numeric data here within the number? We can say the quantity, and it should be between 1 to 10. 1 to 10, or 1 and 10. Let's say input. The type of this input would be number, because it is going to show us a numeric type, and the name would be quantity, and I have to wrap it within the quotes, and then I should say minimum would be 1, and the max value would be 10. It's going to show us between this. Okay, within this there is a range also, but it is going to show us between this. So let's go and check. So 1 is the minimum, and the maximum is up to 9 and 10. Sorry, it's up to 10. So we can see there are the buttons for increasing and decreasing the numbers. Okay, I think it's done. Or if you guys want to know, let me cover two more. Okay, two more types. One is the range, and the other one is search. And you can see the message also. So I should move on. I should just go with the two more types, and the other type is range. Let me go with the range type. Let me say range. And what this range type is going to do, this range type is going to define the control for entering a number, okay, whose exact value is not important, like slider controls, like we can see the sliders in the sides. So the default range is 0 to 100, and we can restrict on some numbers that we are accepted with minimum, maximum, or some step attribute. So let me show you how we can set this. Input, the type of this input is range, and the name would be points, points, and the minimum of this should be 1. It's not the exact value, it's just I'm just defining it from 1 to 10. and let's save it, move on to the browser, and here you can see the slider, this range, yeah, kind of a slider. Okay, so we can set it according to the we can have this range or this range slider by using this range type. Okay, the last but not the least, because I'm not going to go do more right now, so let's see the search. And the search is, I have shown you guys the search in my last project. I've used this search type because we use this search type more in almost in all the projects. So this search type, how we can use this input, the type would be search, and the name also, name is also search. Okay, so here let's save it and move on to the browser, and here you can see the search. Okay, so you can see the search box. I think it's enough for today, and in the next lesson we will cover the input attributes, some other input attributes, but those input attributes are mostly okay. We will cover those input attributes in the next lesson. See you next time. Bye for now, and do subscribe the channel for more videos and for more lessons. Okay, so bye for now. Ciao ciao and hasta la vista.